Welcome to DrivenMavens.com. My name is Harvin, and on this video we're going to kick off our drawing fundamentals. So let's go. And what we're going to start off here is we are going to talk mostly about how to look at some of the basic fundamental drawing techniques that have not really been discussed before. I think a lot of people look at the sketches, they get inspired, but all this definitely has a start. You can't suddenly start drawing proficiently right out the bat. It takes a lot of practice and takes a lot of determination and discipline in order for you to put that kind of time and effort and consistent effort into things. Now, before you even start putting in time and effort, you got to figure out, well, what am I supposed to do? What kind of time and effort am I supposed to be putting into the my drawing? Well, the question or the answer to that question is focusing on the fundamental techniques. That means doing a lot of boring stuff that people don't like to post up on YouTube videos or anything else, because what happens is that it just doesn't draw attention. I mean, as you see here, I'm just starting to draw a box, and we're going to start going through how to identify what radiuses are and tangency points and how they all relate to drawing simple forms. Well, people hate drawing simple stuff. If you look all over the net, whether you're looking at some of these conceptual artists that are putting stuff up, you'll realize that, wow, I'm so inspired looking at the techniques that I'm being shown here, but what people start to figure out later is that, well, why am I not able to do that? And it's hard to make people understand that, well, a lot of it comes from really nailing down your basics and your fundamentals. Unfortunately, all those basics fundamentals are extremely boring. And I'm going to be the first one to admit how boring it is to start to work on drawing lines and drawing circles or whatever it is, and doing that for so many hours and hours to be able to nail that down. But anyway, a lot of people on the blog who have been enjoying the material are asking for more fundamental stuff, so that's what this is all about. Now, excuse me, what I'm using right now is a software called Painter 12 to do the illustrative work, and what I'm going to do is just take the simple box or cube that I had just drawn on here, and I'm going to replicate that. This is just so that I don't have to do things twice, because I just want to show you a before and after comparison of what it is that we're trying to do here. So anyway, I will copy this, and all this is also going to be in real time. There were some other suggestions that people had on the blog that if I could slow it down and to show people how to illustrate in real time instead of having everything sped up. Just so you know, when I speed things up, that's just so that I'm able to get enough content in there. I mean, especially when you're on YouTube, a lot of people don't like to sit there for a half hour and watch something. So things are sped up for a purpose. Now, let's continue on. Now we've got a cube here. Now, one of the main things, as basic as it may seem, is you want to be able to understand how you can apply things like radiuses to a cube. That's probably like one of the first steps. You've got some now sharp edges and corners here, and what I'm just going to show you on this simple example is how to take the sharp edges and add some radiuses to them. Now, as you start getting into more complex shapes and forms, what you're going to see is varying degrees of radiuses that you're going to apply to a basic shape, such as this box, which is what I'm showing here. So if we want to just treat this corner, we're going to, what I've done here is to add some tangency points. Now the tangency points are really where the radius will start, or where you begin your arc and then where you finish off your arc. Now radius is going to be a geometric geometrically perfect circle that you're going to apply. This is not something that you typically have when you're doing, let's just say, surfacing that you do for a car, for example. Rarely do you ever see people drawing or applying a real radius to the shape. And that is mainly because when you have a mathematically correct radius, what you end up having are these tangency points, which is what you see here. Alright, so I've added the radius for the top, and then from a plan view I'm also adding the arc for that section as well. I'll also have to indicate the wraparound of the radius on the other side, so I'm just going to take a portion of this box that I've got here and I'm just going to apply it just before the edge of the box here. Right, and then this kind of rounds off. There we go. Now we're going to do the same thing here with rounding off the edge, and then I had to reconnect where I would hit the tangency point on the other side. Now I'm going to bring this thing down, and then at the bottom I'll end up adding the arc here. So here you can kind of see where the radius is. This just freehand is not exactly perfect as I look through here. When I look at that front corner, it should be equidistant on each side, but yeah, this is just so you sort of get the point of what this is all about. Alright, and then once I've got the radius established, right at the center of the box I've just added another section. You see a lot of my videos talking about sections, so it all begins here when we start to look at applying sections to describe form. This is so basic, this is pretty easy, but nonetheless it's an exercise that you need to practice. You got tangency points where you have the beginning of the arc and then you end the arc on the second tangency point, and that is essentially what you're going to use for your start and your finish of your radius. I'm just going to add a little bit of a background here, nothing big, just pop out the shape a little bit, and that is pretty much it. So I hope this getting into these fundamentals is going to help you. I know that it helped me. It was incredibly boring when I first worked on them, but nonetheless it's important. So come back again for more fundamentals. JavaMavens.com.